What are those goofy goober glasses?
I'm ready.
They literally look like, what's Goofy's kid's name from the Goofy movie?
Max.
They look like Max's glasses.
So he put those on last week when we were recording, and I asked him if I could post that to social media, and he said yes.
Did you?
No, because he said I was gonna be able to get a better picture of him with them this week. So we delayed it a week, and you have no idea. I've been waiting. Anyway, did you guys know that the show already started?
I had no idea.
Yeah, because you're getting your wish, Caleb. This is our first cold open. This is how it's supposed to work, right?
As far as
You can't
cold
talk-
opens go, I don't think it gets much colder.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't talk about cold opens during cold opens.
No, but that's exactly what we do. We don't follow the rules. So, hey, this is a cold open.
The cold B cast.
I liked it better
do-
when we were in Europe and we didn't have to hear these puns.
But I do have a surprise for you guys, because you know how I've been talking about like retooling the beginning and like writing a new intro and doing different stuff like this. Well, we're about to do that. So for the first time in Colbycast history, here's the new intro.
Punch it to me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Colbycast, where we dive into movies,
21 gigawatts!
TV,
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
and everything in between.
Well, I don't know how you get a podcast, but you should look into it.
I'm Colby, and I'm joined by my two awesome sons, Caleb
I don't know how to tie my shoes.
and Luke.
I never shut up.
Together, we're your friendly neighborhood pop culture nerds, here to share our thoughts on Star Wars, Marvel, the latest entertainment news, and maybe even some sports.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
So grab a piece of cake
Cake! Everybody loves cakes.
and find a comfy spot on the couch, because this is your place for community and conversation about pop culture and storytelling.
What an incredible smell you've discovered.
Were you guys confused when you heard my voice and you didn't see my mouth moving? Were you guys like, what is happening?
No,
Not at all. I was so confused about what the hell was the first sound.
that was Lucia saying punch it, Chewy.
It was. That was Lucia, our 3-year-old niece, saying, "Punch it, Chewy!" Because she harasses me every time she comes over to the house. She wants to watch Star Wars. So I've been recording our conversations as we watch Empire Strikes Back, because it's the only one she ever wants to watch. And then I told her, I go, if you want me to start the movie, you have to say "Punch it, Chewy," and that's what I got.
You know
That's
what I
all.
hate? You know what I hate?
What?
That's actually kind of good.
Thank you.
It's like if you gave an 8-year-old like a Red Bull and said, go make an intro, kid.
That is exactly the feeling I was going after. Exactly what you just said. And I have to tell you that I am so over the moon happy with that thing.
Well,
I
you
had
hit
so
the
much
nail
fun
on the
putting it
head.
together. What?
You hit the nail on the head.
Well, I hope so. I hope everybody that listens sort of gets the bubbling up joy that I'm experiencing right now, because this is one of those instances where I wish that our podcast was a video cast, because your faces were priceless. There was like confusion mixed with laughing. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, besides you liking it and stuff, how you like it?
I laughed. I cried. It was cinema.
Why is mine that I don't know how to tie my shoes? I don't remember ever even saying that.
Both of your sound clips just made me laugh.
They're
much.
very funny. I was laughing when my line came up because I didn't know I was gonna say anything, and then I lost it when Luke says he doesn't shut up.
And I
So,
stand by it.
It's true. It's God's honest. It's the gospel. Like, that is gospel truth. I'll just give you a little peek behind the curtain. and let you know that when I was trying to put it together, there were certain things that I remember you guys having said and having no clue what episodes they were in. So I was prepared to listen to our episodes just like all day long at work and throughout the day and be like, I'm going to find these quotes in my brain. So I just sort of like scrolled back in the feed long enough to have gone past the episodes that I thought I needed to find them in. Am I making sense? And I started on our episode where we talk about our favorite or our Mount Rushmore of animated characters. And I just started playing it. And I'm like, I'm going to find these quotes. And I'm not going to tell you which quotes I had in mind because the ones that I found were just, I just love them so much. And both of those sound bites came from that episode. Caleb, you were talking about the live action Avatar movie and how they took a 12-year-old character that doesn't know how to tie his shoes and turned him into this serious thing.
Mm,
But you spoke in like like as Aang, you're like,
I see.
I don't know how to tie my shoes, but you're speaking as Aang. So I'm like, I'm using that.
You know, that makes perfect sense. I still don't remember saying it.
Well, I say a lot of things I don't remember. And then Luke, you're talking about Jerry because one of your characters on your Mount Rushmore was Jerry from Tom and Jerry, and you found it ironic because you liked a character that is a mouse that doesn't talk, considering I never shut up. And then I'm like, yes, that's it. I had such a blast.
I
Such a
want to know
blast.
what the rejected options were.
Well, I love when you said at one point, my brainy no worky. That was
Can we have an alternate version that one comes in like once in a while?
maybe I'll do rotating ones, but if I have to find that quote though, because you said it, my brainy no worky, and I love
Like if I
that.
misbehave.
Maybe I'll just I'll cut it into little sound bites and play it in live action. Um, Caleb, you left me sort of at a loss. Like I remember at one point, and I don't remember if it was in an episode or if it was just pre episode, where you said beep bop boop, and it just cracks me up when I think of you saying beep bop boop. Like, I have to find, and I'm willing to listen to hours of us talking just to find these two quotes. But then when I found these two, I'm like, no, you know what? This is sort of perfect. This is like nail, meat, hammer. I got them, and I'm like, I'm going with it, and I'm very pleased with how it turned
No,
out.
I like it. I think it encapsulates as well.
Yeah, so that's our thing now: cold opens and new intro. So yeah, that's us. Here we are. Now everybody knows who we are, what we do. We don't
Yeah.
have to spend any time setting that up. It's already taken care of, prepackaged like a Twinkie. And I just have to pause here for a second so I can take a picture now of Luke and his glasses because that's happening. If I can remember how to take a screenshot on my Chromebook.
You're
All right,
so
so give me.
old.
Stop it. Oh, is this button say screen capture for a reason? All right, Luke, give me some good light. We're doing this live on air, everybody. This is going to hit the internet. We're just going to do it just like this. Ready? Smile, Luke, or don't. Caleb, you're going to be in it too. So 1, 2,
Why?
3,
My room is such a mess.
click. Oh, no, not yet. Here we
You
go.
can just crop everything but Luke out.
Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. I'll let you know how it turns out. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're listening to us rambling on right now, clearly Caleb has made it back safely from his trip to Europe. Welcome back, Caleb. Welcome back to America and to the Colbycast.
The land of ice cold drinks, AC, cars. It is good to be back.
You got back about 48 hours ago, and I think it was hilarious because after not having seen you at all yesterday, I saw you in the evening, and then the first thing you said to me was like, I really love driving.
Yeah, that's the first thing I said to you. I'm not even kidding you. I got in my car to drive for the first time in over 2 weeks yesterday and smiled. Like I didn't even done anything. I just smiled. It was amazing.
You were gone for so long.
Yeah,
Like I was
it
thinking
really
about this
feels like it
today.
was so
Like,
long.
You were gone for the entire Olympics. Like you literally left like about the day before the opening ceremonies, and you came back the day of the closing ceremony. So, what would you like to share with our Colby Cast listeners? How was your trip? How did you like it?
I really just want to like go the opposite of what you want me to say and just talk about the lowlights instead of the highlights. So I won't. Um, it was incredible. It sounds so cliche and lame, but it was literally life changing. I am not addicted to anything that I know of other than now traveling, because now that I've gone over so many countries in a flight and spent half of an entire day for one flight, um, I want to do it again. My wallet says, please, no, let me rest for a minute. But the rest of me says, let's do it again tomorrow. Um, but we hit 4 countries. There were definitely some absolutely phenomenal things I would do again. But you know me, I just love change. That's sarcastic. But I do love variety. Having an idea of another trip that I would want to do, I would do certain things the same, but most of the things that I would do going to Paris, I would do a lot of different things, but because there's just so much of the world I haven't seen already, like I would put that very low on the list. But Croatia, I fought the Lannisters, I fought everybody in King's Landing. I now sit upon the toothpick throne, and it is amazing.
I really want to make a life size Iron Throne, but of toothpicks.
Yeah,
So
like imagine the little old ones that you used to put in like club sandwiches and stuff. That's the throne that I sit upon. Those little swords.
the ones that we taught you guys to put in a straw and shoot up at the ceiling at certain restaurants.
Those
Yeah.
those.
Do you guys remember going to a restaurant in Pasadena that actually encouraged you guys to do that? There was like a train that would go on a train track around the ceiling, and they would give you cups of toothpicks, and they wanted you to shoot those up. Do you guys remember that?
No.
Not at
I'm
all.
not
Not even.
surprised that you don't remember it. You don't remember it either, Caleb?
Mm.
I think it's gone now, so I'm sorry, but I can't take you back. But yeah, it existed. It was like a diner type of place.
I shoot those at my waiters when they take too long.
Check, please.
Dance, poo, 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 dance, poo, poo, poo.
That would have been
um,
useful in Europe because it very much felt like you were spending half the time enjoying your meal and your company and the other half trying to get the waiter's attention. And I think they do it intentionally so you drink more, order more, whatever.
oh yeah, well that's a good strategy. I'm gonna put you right on the spot right now,
Okay.
and I want you to rapid fire me a Mount Rushmore of your trip.
Oof. Okay. So I have 4 things. Two of them are Croatia, and I will willingly put the other ones in the other countries. Number one, kayaking in the Adriatic Sea with my girlfriend. It was a 3-hour sunset kayak. We went off the coast of one of the islands that I wish I could name because I literally went around it and it would add so much value to the story. Doesn't even matter. We
We'll
had
just
like
call it the Galapagos Island. Just call it the Galapagos.
sure that's fine.
Nowhere
Well
near that, but
actually we'll call it where are all the dragons in House of the Dragon?
Dragonstone.
Thank you. Um, Resident, House of the Dragon, and Game of Thrones coming in clutch. Um, we'll call it Dragonstone. We kayaked around Dragonstone, and we got to see some of the sights. We got to go into a cave. We got to go cliff diving. We got to put on some scuba goggles and look into the crystal clear blue ocean. We got to kayak back toward the city of Dubrovnik, uh, that inspires King's Landing in Game of Thrones, and literally watch the sunset as we're kayaking into it. I would say by far that's absolutely number one. Just because of the views, the experience, our arms were absolutely shot after, but I would do it again. I would do it for 24 hours straight. That's how much I loved that experience. Number two, also, I will put for Dubrovnik. We had a shout out to our Airbnb experience. There was a woman who created a game. It was almost like a full city scavenger hunt slash escape room, where the premise was you're rewriting the things that you don't like in the final season of Game of Thrones. And
That's pretty funny.
it I could talk about this literally for the entire episode, so I'll give you the cliff notes. There were puzzles inside of the book that they gave us, and the book was easily like 6 inches thick, with padlocks in it where you had to do things around the city to understand the code. You were trying to help Tyrion escape from all this stuff, and we went down the stairs of like the shame stairs that they made Cersei go down in the show. We saw the Red Keep. We got to see the dock where Littlefinger's telling Sansa to get out of King's Landing for her own health. We got to make a potion, quote unquote, that actually went from like white to very like deep, like a royal purple, as like the quote unquote poison for Joffrey. It was amazing. It was a super unique and creative way to be able to just explore the city, because there's a city block after city block after city block within the walls of the city that, like, if you didn't have something like this pushing you, it would just sort of get redundant. But because you're looking for super unique and niche things, it just made it so much fun. And having that appreciation and love for the show that Brittany and I share, it just made it that much more fun. So that's number two.
Can I
N-
just say real quick before you move on to your next one? I think that's such a cool way to explore a city, because sometimes you run, if you're not a good planner or you're not a big traveler, you invest all this time and money, energy into going to another place, and if you don't experience that place, then it's sort of like womp womp, right?
yeah,
But the fact that you guys had an Airbnb experience where that was set up for you guys to sort of maximize the reason you're going to that specific place is amazing. So if anybody's out there wants to go to King's Landing, Dubrovnik, Croatia, we'll connect you with Caleb, and he can tell you where to get that that
yeah,
6 inch wooden book. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
100%. It was so cool. Um, We also went to Venice and Montenegro on our trip. I am remiss by not putting them on my Mount Rushmore, but Paris was just so beautiful and such an incredible experience being in such a giant and extravagant city during the Olympics. So I will give the last two spots to Paris as well. One, I will give to the Eiffel Tower itself. We did that on the last day we were in Paris, and you had to book actually like a reserved time to enter, and it was just because of the high demand and expectation for tourism because of the Olympics. And we were really concerned that because of the timeline in which we planned the trip, we weren't going to be able to get a reservation, but we ended up getting a reservation. It just happened to be able to be in the window of when we were actually going to be there, so we're super grateful. But every hour after sunset, the lights twinkle. They go for like 5 minutes straight. The entire like base to the tippy tip top. It just like there's a million videos out there, but it
Yeah,
is
I saw some
absolutely
on the internet. It's a pretty amazing look.
it is stunning. I think it goes until like 1 a.m. or something, or maybe midnight. But I was taking pictures of Brittany, and she ended up being like in a perfect angle where we weren't planning it or anything, but it was just such an amazing picture of her. And then I switched it to video, and it just started to sparkle with her like actually being like, "Oh my god!" Just this absolutely like stunned and excited and just surprised face on her. I think
That's
that
awesome.
moment and Eiffel Tower overall will take my number 3 on my Mount Rushmore, and then the last one will just be the Olympics overall. Like being able to go to preliminary events. We went to 2 preliminary events and 1 medal event. All of them around swimming because of Brittany's cousin. But it was just it fired you up just seeing people like just be so proud of their country and representing and going against other people like the peak of their craft after spending literally their entire lives for that moment. And to be an Olympian is such an amazing honor, but like with that said, getting a medal of any kind, especially as like amazing as a gold is, seeing that being given to someone that I know personally was that much more amazing. And seeing like the the Australians are really good at swimming these days, so they started taking a bunch of medals. But the medal ceremony and having like the banner raised, there was, I would say, maybe two sections of the entire arena that were filled by Americans or people rooting for the US. But the event that I'm specifically talking about was the 4x100 mixed medley. So it was four different kinds of swimming, two men, two women, and it was a relay race. I'd never seen anything like it, and I would literally watch that on a loop if I could. If I could go back and just replay the memory of seeing it live, I would do it for the rest of my life because it was so, so, so incredible. And they dominated so much that, like, the entire crowd, when the last person, which was Brittany's cousin, tapped the, I don't know, I don't even know what you would call it. She equivalent of crossing the finish line.
Yeah, it's like when they tap
Everybody,
the wall.
exactly. Everybody in the entire arena just started chanting USA, USA, just because it was such an amazing and dominant performance by the four athletes that
Wow.
like everybody was just absolutely taken back and was just in that moment was so, so, so phenomenal.
Wow, that was pretty cool. And I'm glad that you ended off with that because I wanted to talk a little bit about the Olympics because you being over there, we really didn't haven't had a chance to talk about it. And Luke and I, of course, we were watching a lot. Mom was watching a lot, but we haven't really touched upon it now that it's over. So it's sort of a perfect segue. So we're glad that you're home. We're glad that you had a great time. Sounds like it was an incredible experience, just like we all expected it to be. And we are glad that both of you guys are safe and had that incredible experience. So thanks for sharing some of your thoughts on it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And the best thing since coming back, first thing we did when we got picked up from the airport is we went to In and Out and
That's right.
loved it. It was incredible. I don't normally put ice in my drinks because I have to say American drinks are just naturally cold. That's how they're served. I missed ice so much in Europe because they give you four melting cubes that by the time that the room temperature bottle of glass, that whatever drink you order is, you're pouring it into your cup, it's already melted. Like it's not even cold at that point, and it was so scorching hot while we were there. So I put ice in my drink when we went to In and Out, and literally stood there like a fat kid in a candy store, just smiling ear to ear as I was drinking my drink. Um, but
It's so
second
funny you
thing,
mentioned ice in your drinks because I mean to ask you guys. I'm drinking a glass of milk right now. Is it weird to put ice in milk?
yes.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Well, I did. It's in
So
Don't,
it's in the
don't do
glass
it.
right now. Well, sometimes because I like to sip as we do our little podcasting, and
So you like it
sometimes
to almost taste like milk?
I mean, put. It's not like I filled the whole cup with milk with ice, but I just wanted to preserve the cold. I don't know why. I just like cold milk, and I decided to put some ice in. It's going pretty good so far. But now that I know you guys are judging me
yeah,
silently, I'm not going
we're
to
we're we're very much judging you.
It's not silent.
do that. Sorry, I stepped on your second point about ice.
No, the second point was just like post Europe things. I'm not jet lagged, and everybody I've talked to who's had a Euro trip of any kind has all been like, okay, in 48 hours when you land, after you land, you're gonna get jet lagged. I'm just built different. I'm just better. I've had no jet lag at all.
It's good. It's
I'm gonna
good.
wake up tomorrow and just be so slammed. I bet you.
No, you're not because I was about to say you're welcome because you get that from me. I've never experienced jet lag, no matter where
Mhm.
we've gone. I don't know why, but it doesn't really affect me. So, you're welcome.
High five. Bam.
High five. Boom, right there. So let's talk a little bit about the Olympics because, I mean, this is what we're doing on this episode. We're talking about your trip. We're talking about the Olympics. I got some D23 news to share with you guys. So we're just sort of hanging out, talking, which is what we do. So, Luke, what were some of the highlights for you of the Olympic experience over the last couple? I mean, experiencing it from Los Angeles, we weren't like in the city, but what did you think
Yeah.
about the games?
It was great. Women's beach volleyball and women's long jump. Phenomenal. Um,
You just love that joke. You just keep going back to that joke. I love it. It's good. Stick with it.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. Um, USA basketball stays number one. Noah Lyles won his gold medal, but you know he got bronze, so womp womp. Um, I'm a
Excuse
big
me. He got bronze with COVID. Like he's still third fastest.
yeah, and then 12 hours later he was dancing in a club. Womp womp.
Well, Paxlovid. I mean, it's a very it's good. It helps take off the
No,
symptoms.
no free ads. No free ads.
No, no. We're rocking with the greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron James, winning Olympic basketball MVP at the age of 39. Ain't that something? Take that, MJ. Um, I'm a big fan of volleyball. Volleyball's fun, but both American teams fell short there. But still, they got bronze, which that's almost cool. Um, I love the track and field events. Those were really fun. It was cool because I would wake up every morning and just watch the Olympics, and then by the time it was done, it was like 3 p.m. So I still had the rest of my day. And there were a couple times where I just woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 3 in the morning, and I'd be like, "Oh, Olympics are going to start. Maybe I'll check it out." And it was cool. It made me really excited for the Olympics to come to LA. I definitely want to check out a handful of those events while they're here. I'm sure it's going to be, damn near impossible, but I think it'll be worth it.
I don't know. It may be more possible than you think. And I actually just read today that they're going to be using. There's like a big recreation facility that's literally like 15 minutes from our house. It's over by Balboa Lake. It's called the Sepulveda Athletics Recreation something or other. Blah blah blah. They're going to be doing BMX, skateboarding, and one other thing. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, BMX competition and skateboarding is going to be over there like literally 15 minutes. The first Olympic event that's going to be held in the San Fernando Valley, because the two previous times that LA had the Olympics, they didn't do anything over this way. Everything was in venues and other places. So plus they're having Olympic swimming in the SoFi Stadium, which there's like 65 billion seats in that place. So I'm pretty
I'm
sure there will
uh
be ticket availability.
I'm 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 gonna need a minute because I'm gonna fall to my knees and cry. I was talking about this with Brittany. It worked so well in Paris. I haven't heard a single complaint about like too much about anything for the Paris Olympics in terms of just overall flow because the transit system over there was incredible. Some of the trains would get super, super, super packed. Um, and just trying to compare that to LA, traffic is already a nightmare and everything's going to be so spread out. Like you're telling me someone's going to buy BMX tickets and try to get to SoFi within 2 hours while everybody else is trying to do the opposite. It's going to be
Yeah.
miserable.
To be fair, don't know how much of a crowd the BMX is going to be pulling compared to like swimming at SoFi.
Okay,
No,
listen, hot take.
absolutely.
I'm coming in from the top like ropes. I'm not a wrestling fan. Sorry, I don't know what the the phrase is, but BMX originated in Southern California, so there's probably going to be a very large interest in specifically the BMX. But I take your point. I get it.
Well, yeah, comparatively, sure. Like BMX probably going to be bigger here than it would be in Paris, but still, I this sounds bad to say. I'm just glad they're not going to have breakdancing again. I watched some of it. It was hard on the eyes. So, like, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. It is impressive that what those people can do. I just, I don't, I don't think it's an Olympic sport.
It's funny because I remember us talking about that and not knowing that was happening until you guys broke the news to me right here on the Colby Cast, and thinking about like I got pumped. I'm like, oh man, breakdancing is going to be a competition in the Olympics. It's fantastic. And I mean, I honestly, we watched all the Olympics on Peacock, which was a very big difference for me because here I am, I'm the old man screaming at the clouds. I was just sort of used to always watching what NBC um, like prepackaged for people to watch on the like traditional television. Well, now I sort of was like overcome with choices and never knew what to watch. Plus, it was all replays of everything because normally the competitions were finishing up as we're getting the days going over
Yeah.
here. So ended up not seeing any breakdancing except for, unfortunately, the person that's taking all the attention of the breakdancing, which is an amazing nickname, Ray Gun. I love that. That's pretty cool.
I
But
guess there's a ton of controversy around her, which I don't know validity to, with her like monopolizing uh
yeah, like
Australian
all the screen.
breakdancing. No, no, no. Like things logistically for all things breakdancing Australia and like bamboozled funds and her and her husband and all this stuff. Like I don't know validity
Oh
to it
wow.
'cause I just saw a recap of it, but I wouldn't speak too highly of her before the verdict is up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about it, so it sort of fell flat for me. Some of the things that I liked, actually, I have four things that I wrote down, and three of them are not athletics related at all. But I'll start with the one athletics related thing that I have, and that's Tara Davis Woodall and her husband Hunter Woodall. Uh, they weren't on my radar. I really didn't know who she was until mom pointed her out and said, I'd like you to find out when she's competing because I want to watch Tara. She's a women's long jumper. She ended up winning gold, and she's married to Hunter, who competes in the Paralympics. He's a double amputee. He has no legs from the knees down. So he runs on like the carbon fiber. I think they call them blades, which is super cool. And I loved their energy so much. Like everybody in the world needs somebody rooting for them, like Hunter was rooting for Tara, and everybody in the world needs somebody to root for, like Tara, because they were just so much fun, so full of life. They have a really cool story behind them. Definitely check it out. So that was a joy, and to see her winning gold, and the Paralympics start on August 28th, so you get to see some more competition, and he's going to be running in that. So I'm definitely going to be tuning in for that. The other thing that I thought was just wildly entertaining for me was Snoop Dogg and his coverage. Like that man is living not his best life, but the best life. Like the guy is just doing all these crazy things, and he's so entertaining and so relatable, and he's just popping up everywhere. Like it's so weird to say that you're relating to like this multi-billionaire kind of person, but he's awesome. He's Snoop, and I can't wait to see. I'm hoping he's going to be doing some similar stuff here in LA. Of course, I mean that's sort of like a perfect fit, right? Sort of sticking with the LA connection, Peacock had this like highlights show hosted by Kevin Hart and Keenan Thomas, and they were an absolute riot. Like this is definitely like not a family show, so they were getting there, getting across with the salty language, and they were being Kevin Hart and Keenan Thomas. But I was so entertained by them, I was cracking up. But the thing I think was my favorite part of this Olympics were these videos that started popping up right after they started. I'm sure you guys have seen them. I think I may have even sent some to you guys. I was so entertained by these, and it's the ones where like people are just failing at things left and right, and it says like, "Sorry to break the news, I haven't been picked to the U.S.
Yeah,
Olympic team 2024,"
that
and
was a
it's just
great
people.
trend.
Oh man, that was my favorite thing. I laughed so much at these people that are just putting themselves out there, failing so miserably at all of it. It was diving, the hurdles, pommel horse, all of it, everything. It was just so much fun. I was so happy with the how that turned out. So um I mean,
It
as far as
was
the athletics go, the Olympics is always cool, and I am also very, very pumped for them to come to LA. So that's going to be extremely fun. Looking forward to it.
my favorite long-standing joke for as literally as long as I can remember is people saying that like there has to be at least one quote unquote normal person competing against these Olympians because like iron sharpens iron. All of these people at the top of their craft doesn't look impressive. Like it just looks like normal. So if you
Yeah.
put someone as like a pace setter for normality, you'd be able to get a real gauge of what like the actual skill is there.
Yeah.
And like I would pay extra money to see that. Like even if it's just like a graphic of people swimming like one way and like 30 seconds later a normal swimmer is like finally catching up.
Someone there for context. I think
Exactly.
I always think about when I saw Magic Johnson appear on the Arsenio Hall show way back when I was a kid. And Magic Johnson, to me at least, never appeared to be one of the bigger NBA players, like as far as height goes. He was he was on the smaller side. I'm not talking about he wasn't small, but he wasn't like a big, Shaquille O'Neal sized player or Hakeem Olajuwon or anybody like that. But then when I saw him standing next to Arsenio Hall, and Arsenio Hall is not a small person either, he's pretty tall. He like dwarfed him. I was like, wow, context really is key. So yeah, I would crack up if well, that's what those videos were sort of doing for me. It's like this stuff is really hard, and these people are out there just like, and we're being so judgy towards them. Like, oh my god, did
Yeah,
you see that person splashed? There was too much splash on that dive.
exactly.
Could you imagine what I would do if I tried to do anything like that? It was ridiculous.
I'm not
All
going to
right.
let you gloss over the fact that you called a 6'9" man short.
I did not.
You
I did
did.
not
You
do
said he's
that.
not a big NBA player.
I was making a comment on context.
I, I'm
Don't try
gonna
to get me in trouble.
I'm gonna call him, tell him to come over and see who's actually short.
Any final thoughts on the Olympics? I'll take that as a no. Um, so D23 was this past weekend, and Disney just like it was just a 3-day flex. Have you guys heard? I mean, Caleb, you were traveling during pretty much the whole thing.
Yep.
Luke, I don't know if this hits your radar at all on any of this stuff, but how much do you guys know anything about what was talked about here in D23 the last couple days?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. So you've heard some stuff. Caleb?
I only saw what you posted on the amazing free plug Colbycast socials on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm not an old person, so I don't have threads, but I will say probably you posted it there.
Hey, thanks, man. No, actually, I just did. Are you talking about the polls that I put up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did put up polls, and I wanted to sort of extend that into a conversation of ours because I don't want to just sit here reading all these notes that I have about all this stuff because frankly, it's just so much. There's so much stuff, and everybody out there does a really. Go ahead.
Can you read it and then we like 3 times speed it like the old like really late night drug commercials they would put on after cartoons?
Dude, it took me 2 years to figure out how to do an intro. I don't. So what I thought I'd do is like we'll talk about the movie stuff. There are some park attraction news that I thought was interesting and a little bit of animation, not too much, but the big thing was Friday night and they had like this 3-hour marathon of like Disney just being like, look at how many properties we own and look at all
Look
these
at how
things.
much money we make.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. So I put them together. I'm like, everybody does such a good job of covering the news coming out of it. I'm not going to add to that white noise, but I was interested to see where other people's interest was. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to package this up like a poll. I'm going to put these polls out there, and I love feedback. I love it when we hear from people that listen to us as well as follow us on the socials. I only put it on Instagram, as a matter of fact, but I wanted to just sort of like present that to you guys and tell me you're going to vote in the polls, but you're just going to vote vocally rather than tapping your phone screen. And then we'll share the results that came through from our listeners on Instagram. So we're just going to start off with Disney live action. And I'm going to leave off some stuff because I know for a fact you're not interested in it. Like something called Monster Jam about monster trucks and Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Is that
Pass.
I
you?
love monster trucks.
Okay, well, well then I misjudged you. I'm so sorry. I also didn't know where to put Avatar 3, which is now called Fire and Ash.
In the trash.
No. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I chose these 4 live action movies. I put them up there, and I want to know which one is the most interesting to you. You have to choose one. I will not accept. I don't care about any of these. You got to choose one. So Disney live action. They talked about Lilo and Stitch, the live action Lilo and Stitch, live action Snow White. There's a movie coming out called Tron Ares, which is the third in the Tron series, and the live action Mufasa. Go. Which one? Which one you got to choose one.
Why?
Yeah, I don't care about any of those. I pick none of them.
Um.
I pick free time.
Okay. 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 No. 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 I've got this. I've got this. I'm gonna pick Snow White because I don't care about it, and it doesn't piss me off the way the other ones do.
Why does Lilo and Stitch live action make you angry?
Did you see the way they made Stitch look? Look,
Yeah, he looks like Stitch.
Do you
I've had
remember?
this conversation. Go ahead.
Do you remember when the internet bullied the animation of the live action of Sonic's eyes?
Yeah.
I hope they
Yeah,
bully Disney so much that they just like stop making live action.
I mean,
Okay, that's
I had this conversation. They did the best that they could. It couldn't get better. There isn't a live action version, in my opinion, that could look better than what they did.
But you
And if
don't
that's the
have to
best you can
do
get,
it.
then don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I see
It
that.
looks bad.
I don't think it looks bad, but I think that it's a very valid point what you guys are saying. It's like, what's the point of all these live action remakes? And I was sort of on board up to this point, but they just keep doing it. I don't know if it's because I want to refresh it for like a new generation or whatever it is, but
I don't know why I have it in my head that like Walt Disney wanted Disney to continue to recreate these classic movies for the next generation, and that's the only justification I could think of. But everything else just very much seems just like a cash grab.
go ahead, Luke. You look like you have something to say.
Hmm. I have a lot of things to say, but I won't. What I will say is, I think they need to do more things like Moana or like Princess and the Frog and stuff like that. Original stories for little boys and girls to grow up with, the way that my generation got to grow up on Lilo and Stitch and Lion King and Finding Nemo and The Incredibles. God, don't get me started.
Oh,
Toy Story.
we're gonna get you started. That's a whole other category though. But I
I
agree with you. I agree with you. Give us original stories rather than
and
remaking.
they have good original stories. Frozen is one of the biggest Disney projects ever, point blank, period.
And it's a
Moana,
magnificent story.
it
And
is
Moana, great
completely
stories.
original. Completely original. You have the ability to do it. And if you don't have the ability to tell original stories that are important and can stick and become household names the way like Coco did and stuff like that, then I don't know, go spend another $180 million on the Acolyte.
Got to get the acolyte digs in there. Caleb, you haven't voted yet.
You know, as an American, I have the right to vote, but I also have the right to not vote, and I'm going to exercise that.
You were in Europe, man.
Yeah, but I'm still American. I have stamps in my passport. I think that's so cool.
That's un-American.
Damn.
Well, you are technically American. You do have a passport, but you live under my roof, and it's my rules, and it's my podcast, so you have to vote. This is fine. I can just edit all this silence out. It's just fine. Just pick one. You have to see one. I'll pay for the ticket.
Avatar. You left it off the list, so I'm gonna vote for that one.
I will accept it. I will accept. I will accept that, even though it's not on the list.
That was my civil protest.
That's
Uh,
voting for an independent candidate.
It is.
and that's perfectly fine. That is so
That's the
okay.
equivalent of voting for Mickey Mouse in the election.
Exactly. I wrote it
Which you
in.
could, which you could if you wanted to. That's why we have a write-in option. Um, so I'm gonna have to vote too. I would go with Tron Ares, just because I've seen Lilo and Stitch and Snow White, and I'm sort of interested in Mufasa. I like The Lion King, but we'll go with Tron Ares. Uh, yeah, it's sort of like the Matrix before there was a Matrix. So yeah, I'm done. All right, so
So is Mufasa gonna be like pre-Scar and his little traumatic event, or
It's
like?
about Scar and Mufasa.
Oh,
yep,
really?
Yeah. You would know that if you watched trailers.
No, I don't. Sorry, I was in Europe. That's gonna be my excuse forever.
I was in Europe. Yeah,
Why
there was
didn't
a
you
new
take
trailer
your
that
car bill? I was in Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, they released a trailer. Oh, by the way, Lilo and Stitch won the Colby Cast poll. So 36% of the people uh, voted for Lilo and Stitch. That was what was most exciting. So let's switch over to Disney Animation, where the good stories are, the good original stories are coming from. Um, they talked about Moana 2, which will be coming out in this November. Actually, they're going to make a sequel to Zootopia, which will be out November of 2025. And then Frozen 3 was talked about. I believe it was the first time they acknowledged they're going to make that. That's not coming out until 2027, though. So, which one excites you the most out of these? Luke, we'll
Zootopia.
start with you. Oh, Caleb's going right in.
Yeah.
Zootopia.
Just
Okay.
just of those three.
Yeah, just those three.
Um, Probably Moana too.
Me too. Me too.
What,
And
what,
that won the Colby Cast poll as well. Wow. So not as many hot takes and opinions about these movies. Okay. I
oh,
like
because
that.
these are good.
Yeah, they are good. I
Uh,
liked
Z-
Zootopia. The first Zootopia was fun.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Zootopia scratches an itch in my brain. I don't know what it is, but it's just so much fun to me.
It's weird.
It is very weird, but I don't know what that about it is. Just like it does something.
No, I like it. I like that it's weird.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you also like the Fantastic Mr. Fox, so this is like a sort of a whole. You know, you're very
Are you
consistent.
s- are you saying the fox in Zootopia is Fantastic Mr. Fox in a different like timeline or what?
Disney fan theory. Yeah, it's
I like it.
possible. Moana 2 won 65% of the vote on the.
Wow.
Yeah. So let's go to Disney Plus shows because this is sort of like a hybrid category that I just sort of had to pull together. They announced a Disney Plus show created by Pixar called Dream Productions, and that
I'm
is
in.
going. Okay, well, specifically, it's about Riley from Inside Out, and they said it's going to take place between Inside Out 1 and 2, and it's going to be about the things in her brain that create her dreams. So it's
Yeah.
not like the emotions, but it's the dreams. So there's that. There's
Call
another
it
Pixar
Inside Out 1.5.
Inside Out 1.5.
Yes.
Lion
Bring back
King
the
1.5.
fractions.
Yeah, remember Lion King 1.5? That was
Love
pretty
it.
good.
There were so many of those. There's like one half, there's one quarter, there's three quarters or something like that too.
I'll take your word for it. There's also another Pixar animated show. This one's actually going to be coming out this December. It's called Win or Lose, and it's about sports. It's kids and sports, but there's more to it. They released a trailer. I don't know if I can really talk too much about it, but it's Pixar and it's sports, so that's pretty cool. They also uh, released a little teaser, like almost not even a teaser, like a stinger for Percy Jackson's season 2. They confirmed that it will be following the second book, Sea of Monsters,
Ah.
in the little trailer. And that does not have a release date, but I think it's currently filming, if not going to start soon. And then the last one I threw on there just because I wanted to have four is something called Descendants and Zombies. I know nothing about this. So you can take that as you will. So what's your vote? I'm voting for Percy.
Um, yeah, I'm voting for Percy, even though I wasn't like over the top about the first season. I'm hoping they can go a little bit further, which would make it a little bit better. But I mean, they all sound good.
Yeah, I agree. Dream Production sounds like a cool idea. And also, I'm a Pixar fan, so I'm going to put my faith in them that this would be a fun show, win or lose. Are you sticking with your Dream Productions, Caleb?
I'm definitely in on Pixar. I'm in on Percy. I don't know why I have it in my head that the Sea of Monsters is my favorite of the like sequels of the series. So maybe that's still the truth. I don't remember. But I definitely won't be watching Win or Lose, because I don't lose.
So what's your final answer?
Percy Jackson and Pixar.
There you go. Breaking the rules again. I'm putting you down on Percy.
Always.
Percy won the poll by he got 80%.
Okay, then
So
then
people
I'll
are
vote.
feeling
Then I'll vote for the minority. I'll go for Pixar.
Dream Productions.
Yeah.
Okay, we're putting you down in the Dream Productions. All right, so let's stick with the Pixar theme then.
Oh,
Toys.
sorry.
Yes.
Completely
Yes.
gonna hijack you for a second.
Okay.
One of the most fun things that, like, I paid attention to in Europe was they had, like, movie posters and billboards and all that stuff. There was a mall near the arena where the swimming events were going on, and there was a movie theater there, and I took a picture of it, meant to send it to you, I'll show it to you later, with all the movies they had there. They literally had a French section and an American section on, like, the title options of movies you wanted to watch, and I thought that was
Amazing.
very cool. The other thing was we landed around the time I believe that Inside Out 2 came out. They don't call it Inside Out over there. It was called Vice Versa.
Oh, was it vice versa too?
I don't remember that
Oh,
well, but it was called Vice Versa.
how very interesting. I
Yeah,
have
right?
to tell you that I had to laugh when you texted us. I think I sent you. I can't remember what I sent you. Both of you guys, I sent something, and then your response was like, "Is Deadpool and Wolverine still going to be out when I come back?"
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're not saying a word about that because you haven't seen it, and I'm sure you've already been spoiled a bunch of stuff. But we're leaving that as it is.
Honestly, not a single thing, and now that I say that, it's gonna spoil, but, yeah, I appreciate the silence on it because I am excited for the movie, just haven't had an opportunity to watch it.
Yeah, go watch it because like literally the Marvel social media channels are actively spoiling, and so is Ryan Reynolds. Just all the stuff is out there
Very
now.
cool.
Okay, going back to Pixar, uh, four movies were talked about: Toy Story 5, a new Pixar movie that had not been talked about before called Hoppers, where someone puts their brain into a mechanical beaver. So
That's
that's
so
just weird
random.
enough to be cool. The new one that's going to be coming out soon, well, the soonest, the closest one, is called Elio, where some random kid gets chosen to represent the human race to aliens, which sounds like fun. That's coming out in June of 25. And then previously unannounced, but now confirmed, Incredibles 3. I'm assuming you
Nice.
were referencing that earlier, Luke.
Yeah,
Do you have strong opinions about that? Or
I do. I have strong opinions about everything.
that's true.
What
So are
was the
you so
first one you
vote
mentioned?
Toy Story 5?
Oh, okay.
If I could add before we get into Luke's hot takes and hopefully his vote on which movie excites him the most from this list, the person in charge of writing and directing this movie was in charge of. I'm going to mess this up. It was. I'm going to Google it while you talk, Luke. So
He
talk.
he wrote and produced, another movie? Is that what you're gonna
Two
say?
Pixar movies, and I don't want to mess this up by telling you the wrong one. So,
Oh,
Luke,
okay.
hit me with your hot takes and your vote while I Google.
Give me Mechanical Beaver. I'm in. It's original, it's new, it's weird. I mean, if you would have said that a movie about talking toys, like trying not to be forgotten by their adolescent and growing owner, would have been a hit, then why can't a Mechanical Beaver?
I agree with you 100%. That's why I said it sounds just weird enough to work. Like one of the things that has always been my favorite about Pixar is that they've always done the opposite of what we were saying with the Disney live action. They always gave us original stories. There
Yeah.
was never like a retread, right? So,
So
yeah.
remind me, this category is all Pixar movies?
All Pixar movies: Toy Story 5, Hoppers, Elio, and Incredibles 3. Which one is most exciting to you, Caleb?
I'm gonna continue to irk you one way or another because I know it does when I don't follow the rules, so that's why I do it. I'm gonna vote for all 4 because it's Pixar. I love Pixar.
I'm going to accept that. It's not going to irk me. I accept that 100%.
Let's
Um,
go.
I'm really trying to find out. So the man's name is Andrew Stanton, and I really apologize for my lack of
No, that's
preparedness
okay.
here.
I'll filibuster. I will never tire of talking about my trip to Europe. Um, the trains. I can't get enough of the trains. Just being able to, like, sort of people watch, but also just, like, get from place to place without needing to stop a million times. Of course, you're stopping for the train stations and stops and stuff like that, but they're so fast. We took a train from our Airbnb all the way to Disney Paris, and it did not. It was an hour because it was far. It was legitimately far, but we took the first train from that was like available, and then took the last train out. Um, and it just made the experience so much better. We didn't have to worry about parking. We didn't have to worry about Ubers. We didn't have to worry about any of that because the train station literally drops you off right in front of the gates that take you into like the middle area between Walt Disney Studios, which is one of the parks, and then like actually Disneyland Paris, which is the other side. And thankfully, we were able to do both parks. We did almost every single ride, and I think we walked like 40,000 steps that day.
Yeah, I was surprised that you left Disney Paris off of your list, but I understand why you did. I mean, you had some pretty big highlights, but
It
I
would
agree with you.
definitely be an honorable mention. But we just did so many incredible things that I don't even know if some of my favorite stuff wouldn't make it on a on a Walt Disney's funny on a Mount Rushmore.
Maybe we could call see maybe the jet lag is coming in.
Don't put that evil on me.
So Andrew Stanton, writing and directing Toy Story 5, he wrote and directed Finding Nemo and Wall-E. So pretty good pedigree. The movie is
Hey,
in good hands. And the challenge for the toys is going to be toys versus technology because they
I
showed
did see that. I think that is an incredible concept. When I saw that they're doing Toy Story 5, I was like, why? And
yeah,
then it was like a
because
real
Toy
thing.
Story
That's
4 made over $1 billion.
yeah, that's crazy. Not even a
I
surprise.
have a problem. No, I don't have a problem. Disney has a problem that they have to deal with, and it's mine. Um, if Woody and Bo Peep are in it, then Toy Story 4 was pointless. If they're not in it, then Toy Story 5 sucks. So
That's pretty valid. I
that's
feel
for
like
them.
there's
Oh,
sort of I feel like that they'll like bridge it. They'll be like, all right, like Woody and Bo, they're out away, and then they're gonna be like, hey guys, we're back. We missed you guys.
I mean, no spoilers for Toy Story 4, but like literally as the credits were rolling and the tears were falling down my cheeks at the end of that movie, I was writing in my own head how Andy, as a grown up, found all of his old toys and gave them to his kid. So, like, this totally could be the premise for Toy Story 5, which would solve both of your problems, Luke.
You were 40 years old writing Toy Story fan fiction.
In the movie theater.
I mean, yeah, as I was crying in the movie
Yeah.
theater.
You're gonna post it on a subreddit and see what people think.
Maybe I don't want a Toy Story 5 because Toy Story 3 and 4 wrecked me emotionally. So what's your vote then? You're voting for all of them, Caleb. What's your vote, Caleb, Luke, for the Pixar options here?
Um, Hit me with it one more time.
Toy Story 5, Hoppers, which is about the mechanical beaver.
Oh no, I
Elio.
already voted Beaver.
Oh, you're voting for the oh, I thought you were joking. Okay, that's cool.
No, I
Nobody on
never
my
said
Instagram
about
poll voted for
Beaver.
the beaver, so I'm happy that it got. Toy Story 5 won the poll, by the way, 50%, but Incredibles 3 got 4. Can I take a picture and put that on Instagram? I'm taking a picture of that because I just looked up my computer screen and got to see Caleb wearing a Speedo. Not really a Speedo. Speedo goggles. Okay, here I go. I'm taking a picture again. How do I do this? Oh, do I
um,
have to? I got it.
I will give the.
Okay, pose. I'm taking it.
Oh,
Wait,
I
put them
just.
back on.
You said you got it.
No, I didn't. I have to hit the other button. Smile pretty.
No,
Smile pretty.
I'm going to jump into the pool.
Got it.
This is perfect.
Perfect. Anyway, so Toy Story 5 won 50% of the vote. Incredibles 3 got 44%. All right, we have two more categories to go on our polls. Hope you're having fun with this because I am. We have not talked about Marvel yet. Marvel dropped a whole bunch of stuff at Comic-Con, so this was a little bit different. Uh, they didn't talk about any of the stuff that was on Comic Con except for Fantastic Four First Steps. I don't even know. I think they showed a video of the cast, like in London, um, but they talked about it, so I put it on the list. So there's Fantastic Four, which is going to be called First Steps. They talked about Ironheart, which is still going to be happening. If you remember, that's Riri Williams, and she made her debut in Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever, yeah. They also talked about Daredevil, Born Again, which is going to be hitting Disney Plus in March of 2025, so 6 months or whatever. And then Agatha All Along, which is going to be coming out next month, September 18th. I'm voting for Daredevil because I can't wait to see this. Luke, what about you?
Yeah, I gotta go Daredevil. I mean, Agatha All Along and Ironheart are probably gonna be shows that I don't watch. Um, Not because of anything about me, but it's because of them. It's not my fault, it's their fault.
It's reasonable, very reasonable. Caleb,
Yes.
who are you voting for?
Yes.
Fantastic Four, Ironheart, Daredevil, Agatha.
Fantastic Four has always been very cool to me. Just sort of over Marvel, but I can't not vote for Daredevil. So that'll be my vote.
I like it, and I recommend you go see Deadpool, and Wolverine because that will make you feel good about Marvel again. It did for a lot of people.
No, because I very much feel like they're just gonna blow it all up in that movie, and it's just gonna be such a cop out, and I'm gonna hate that.
Everything about what you just said is false. So, and I wouldn't lie to you. Okay, so last one on the list: Lucasfilm, nearest and dearest to my heart. Skeleton Crew is going to be hitting Disney Plus on December 3rd. 8 episodes. They did not confirm a release date for Andor season 2, but they did have Diego Luna was there, being his Diego Luna charming self. They did say it will be hitting Disney Plus 2025, and our guys John Favreau and Dave Filoni were there, and they actually showed some footage of the Mandalorian and Grogu, which will be coming out, I believe, May of 2026. They've already started filming it, and they showed some footage. I'm voting for Mando and Grogu just because I'm desperate to see another Star Wars movie, and that's the next one going to be out. So I'm all on board, but that it should not reflect my opinion on Skeleton Crew or Andor season 2 because those I'm sure are going to be fantastic. So that's what I have to say. Luke, what do you think about those three?
Um, I'm excited for Andor because the first season was so good, but I gotta go with Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't think there's anything that can top that right now. I mean, even after season 3 of The Mandalorian wasn't as good as the first 2 seasons, I think the hype is still very real, and I think the story is still there, and I think it has the potential to put Star Wars sort of back on the map, like back on everybody's radar.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in on that too because John Favreau said how excited he is about putting Grogu in front of like movie going audiences that may not have jumped on board yet with the popularity of that character. So he's very excited about that. And if John Favreau is excited about it, I'm excited about it. Caleb, what's your vote?
I want a grilled cheese. Made me think of the chef show. I want a grilled cheese.
Oh, God, the grilled cheese. If you haven't seen Chef the movie, go watch it and then watch the 4 seasons of the Chef show.
Yeah. What was the first option again?
Skeleton Crew coming out
Skeleton
this
Crew.
December.
I
It
know
looks
nothing
fun.
about that, but I feel like it's very much the small fish in a big pond that is Andor and Mandalorian and Grogu, just because I feel like those are going to be massive.
Yeah, they will be. So you're going to vote for Skeleton Crew?
Why not?
I love that because that's like they're marketing it as like Goonies in Star Wars. That's like the feel is like a kid's adventure.
If
Anyway, so we'll
there if there is not a sloth love chunk equivalent, it's not the Goonies.
get maybe there will be. All right. Well, I can see that your jet lag is real.
No, my jet
Uh,
lag is not real. I want a
No.
grilled cheese.
So go get a grilled cheese. In
I
that
think I might
case,
go make one.
we'll go ahead and end our conversation on the fact that Caleb wants a grilled cheese. So that was just Friday night. Like literally, that's the D23 stuff from Friday night. There was still Saturday and Sunday.
And that's
Um,
3 days?
yeah.
My God.
And each night they had this massive. It wasn't at the convention center. They had the convention center stuff. They had all these different pavilions with all these different things you could walk around and experience. But then these big presentations was at the Honda Center. So they had like thousands of people at the Honda Center. So yeah, it was really like they just blew it all out. So yeah, there's some park announcements and stuff and some other stuff, but we can talk about that at another time. We'll let you guys go eat your grilled cheese sandwiches. Would you guys like to share any final thoughts before we call it an episode?
Don't watch The Acolyte.
USA. USA.
Well, then on that note, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to this episode. It's good to have the three of us back on the same computer screen talking all this nerd stuff. We hope that you enjoyed the new intro because we did. And so, yeah, get used to that. And thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. So for Caleb and for Luke, this is Colby reminding Caleb to go watch Deadpool and Wolverine after your grilled cheese sandwich.
I don't even think I'll have watched it by the time we record the next episode.
We'll see. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know. You can find the Colbycast on Instagram, Threads, and X at the Colbycast. Episodes can also be found on YouTube, so like and subscribe. If you feel so inclined, rate and review our show on your podcatcher of choice. That really helps the show beat the algorithm and helps us find new friends to add to the conversation. If you're wordy, like me, you can send an email to thecolbycast@gmail.com. All music is licensed through Adobe Stock and performed by Pro Music 24. This podcast is not endorsed by anyone or anything for that matter. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Colbycast unless otherwise indicated.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.